What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here to rank every Sunday night football game on the 2021 NFL schedule, from the worst to the best, from the least entertaining to the most entertaining. And entertaining can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. To me, it means rivalries. To me, it means matchups. To me, it means storylines. So before I give you my rankings of the Sunday night football matchups from the worst to the best, make sure that you do spike that like button and notification bell for the latest upload on the Bottom Line View. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and rankings just like this. The worst Sunday night football game. And guys, there's a lot of good Sunday night football games. There is no bad game on this list. But if I had to pick the worst game, the least interesting to me, it's the Titans versus the Rams. And that's still a good game. This happens week number 9. I just don't see a lot of intrigue here. There's no real rivalry. There's no real storyline. There's nothing that gets me pumped up to watch this game, really. Like, it's just good football, and that's cool. And this is a game that we don't usually see on Sunday night, because usually Sunday night involves storylines, and there's no real storylines that grasp me to be on the edge of my seat for this one. The second least interesting Sunday night football game is the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers in week number 14 of this season. Now, this one's a little bit later in the season, and the Bears, Packers, they have a great rivalry. Of course, it's a historic rivalry. Some would argue the greatest in the NFL. But personally, I don't think the Bears will be all that great. In week 14, I don't see them being in playoff contention. Although they could, I doubt it. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau has mostly owned them. And even when they haven't owned them, the game really hasn't been very interesting. The third worst game on the Sunday night football schedule is the Chiefs and the Raiders week number 10. Now, you might be saying, Mitch, this game was awesome last year. Like, what are you talking about? This should be way higher. I totally get that, and I could totally see where you're coming from with both offenses going blow for blow, score for score. That could be awesome fun. But I just don't think the Raiders are going to be very good. That means this game really won't matter much in terms of, at the end of the day, the standings, the impact. And there's a lot more games here on Sunday night this season that will have a larger impact. That's why it's this low. At number 14, the Chicago Bears at the Los Angeles Rams, week number 1. First game with Matthew Stafford. Now, I don't care if it's Andy Dalton, Justin Fields. If it's Justin Fields, this game could move up maybe 1 or 2 spots, because that adds even more intrigue with 2 new quarterbacks to the mix. But you have 2 big cities, big markets. First game of the year is always exciting, especially NBC. And Stafford with the Rams getting that primetime viewing finally in his career, a showcase for LA. I'm going to be really interested for this game. Number 13 is week number 15, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. These teams played 3 times last year. It's the best rivalry going in the NFC South, and even with Drew Brees retired, the Saints at home is going to be a challenging game for the Bucs. Even if the Bucs are the better team, and likely will be this season, Sean Payton, that coaching staff, they gave Bruce Arians and that team a lot of issues last year. So this late in the season, we're going to see if the Bucs can really dominate this game. And on the other hand, this could mean a lot to the Saints, because I feel like at this time of year with a few games remaining, they're going to need to win these last few games to possibly get in the playoffs. So there is some interest, some intrigue, some rivalry that I'll be invested in on this game. At number 12, I believe a game that we're going to find out a lot about these teams. Week 11, Chargers, Steelers. These 2 teams entering the season are both looked at as primary candidates to get the wild cards in the AFC. And I think we're going to learn whether or not the Chargers are ready to be put in that AFC upper echelon. If they can defeat the Steelers in a primetime slot with Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin, we can crown them as a good team. Now, on the other hand, if the Steelers lose, we'll probably have to take them off that pedestal. But if they win, we could keep talking about the Steelers being relevant. So there's a lot going here, a lot riding on this game, and potentially riding on the chances of these two teams making the playoffs. At number 11, the Seattle Seahawks and the Pittsburgh Steelers, Week 6. You have Russell Wilson versus Big Ben. You have Pete Carroll versus Mike Tomlin. This is two high-profile franchises at a point in the season where we're starting to figure out what these teams are all about. I have my questions about the Steelers. I feel like the Seahawks will make the playoffs, but I'm not sure what their ceiling is. And I think we could find out both in this game. Russell Wilson versus this pass rush running around trying to make plays. It could be pretty fun. Make sure you sign up to Underdog Fantasy today. Best ball is my favorite way to play fantasy football. No waivers, no trades, no problem. Follow the link in the description and use the code BLV to shoot your shot at Best Ball Mania and the grand prize of $1 million. I'll see you there. Entering the top 10 at number 10, the Colts at the 49ers, week number 7. This is a really good under-the-radar coaching matchup between Kyle Shanahan and Frank Reich. Two excellent offensive coaches with teams that play a very physical brand of football. They both love to run the ball, and they have very strong front sevens that at their foundation play a very similar defensive scheme. So this has a makeup to be a very good game that won't really have much in terms of impact on the standings, but would definitely help each team if they were to pick up the win here in a big spot versus a good opponent to prove how good they are. At number 9, week 8, it's the Dallas Cowboys at the Minnesota Vikings, primetime Sunday Night Football. This is a huge game in the NFC. I look at the Vikings as one of the best wild card contenders in that conference. I look at the Cowboys as probably the favorite to win their division. This is an excellent game. I could see this being a shootout with Dalvin Cook running all over that Cowboys defense, and I could see Dak really torching this secondary of Minnesota. In that dome, fireworks. At number 8, week 13, the 49ers versus the Seahawks. This game is always good, especially since Kyle Shanahan came into the mix facing Pete Carroll. It just seems like this game's good no matter what, no matter who the quarterbacks are, no matter who's hurt or who's not. It seems to be close every time, especially, back in 2019 when they had those down-to-the-wire games that dictated playoff position. I see a similar vibe happening this year with the 49ers getting healthy, with the 49ers having potentially two quarterbacks in the mix. I think both teams are going to be in the playoff mix. You have Russell Wilson versus a good defense. You have the scheme of Shanahan, and you have George Kittle, and you have Ayuk, and you have Samuel facing Adams and Wagner. That's just real good matchups on the field, real importance, NFC West rivalry, West Coast football. I'm all about it. At number 7, the Washington football team at the Dallas Cowboys, week 16. The reason I love this game is because it's going to matter no matter what. Because Washington and Dallas are two of the top teams in this division, likely the two top teams in this division, and it likely will determine who wins this division, period. Because that's just how the NFC East works. Week 16, week 17, week 18, that's when this division will be determined and decided. And whoever wins this game likely wins this division. So that's as much high stakes as you can possibly get. But even if, let's say, the Giants are in first place, and these two teams are fighting for a wild card, or maybe the Giants need a certain team to win to get first, or whatever it may be, or the Eagles, it always seems to matter at the end of the day with the NFC East. I like this game. Plus, it's one of the best defenses versus one of the best offenses. My number 6 Sunday Night Football matchup is the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. I love this matchup on paper from a football perspective, right? The 49ers swept them 2 years ago, including a big win in the NFC Championship game. It rattled Rodgers to the point where it spiraled into this year. He won the MVP, and he still doesn't know if he wants to play for this team. Interesting. And it all kind of started with the Niners, did it not? Will Rodgers be there? Will he not? Will he be playing for the 49ers? Who tried to trade for him? So we could see some leaks coming from Adam Schefter too. That's interesting. My number 5 game includes Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers hosting the Minnesota Vikings. This is late in the season, and this could be the championship in the NFC North. The Vikings, Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and a revamped defense taking on Adams, Rodgers, Jones, and the boys in Green Bay. I think these 2 games this year are going to be very good. Down to the wire, 1-possession games. Minnesota beat them once last year. I think they'll be a better team this year, which will make for 2 very interesting, good football games. And again, week 17 between 2 of the top 5 to 6 NFC teams, in my opinion, this year. That's great. Great stuff. At number 4, the Chiefs, the Ravens, week 2. The only reason this isn't in the top 3 is because we've seen it before and it hasn't gone well for the Ravens. Now, could the Ravens change this year? Maybe. We'll see. But Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes is an absolute must-watch matchup. It's 2 of the most talented teams in football, 2 of the top teams in the AFC, 2 of the young superstars. You gotta watch it. It's great. Great AFC football. At number 3, the Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs, a rematch of the AFC Championship. This is week number 5, 3 weeks after that Ravens game, so we'll have a sense of how good the Chiefs are, although we kind of already know they're going to be good. But they have an early season schedule that's pretty difficult, including playing maybe their 3 toughest tests with the Browns, the Ravens, and then the Bills, right? So they're going to have to go through a really tough road early in the season. That's usually when the Chiefs are at their best, though, with Andy Reid. But this is more about the Bills. Like, can the Bills really show up versus the big boys, versus the favorites, versus the top dog? Can they showcase that they belong? Because in that AFC Championship, they did not. So it's up to Buffalo to make this game really entertaining. But I think with these 2 quarterbacks and these 2 offenses, it definitely should deliver. My number 2 Sunday Night Football game of 2021 might be a little surprising. It's the Ravens going to the Browns in week 12. This game was epic on Monday Night Football last year. I mean, Lamar Jackson went to the bathroom, came back, finished the game, and won it in historic fashion. It was exhilarating as a fan, really. It was the best game of the year, and that's giving the respect to this matchup once again here. Because I think Cleveland has some issues defending Baltimore's run game. But I think the Ravens have some issues defending Cleveland's offense. So this could make for another shootout on a primetime game in a game that could dictate who wins this division. I'm all about the Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, same draft class rivalry. And these 2 teams are going to be awesome this year, and I can't wait for this game. The number 1 Sunday Night Football game of 2021, you guessed it. It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady returning home to New England to take on Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, and the Patriots in week 4. This is just everything to me. I mean, even if it's not to you, this is my list, but this is going to be the biggest ratings draw in football this year. Bar none. Not even close. This is Bill Belichick versus Tom Brady. We've wanted to see it. We've been wanting and wondering and wishing for this game to happen just to see who would win. You know, all of our discussions about who is better, who is more important. Not that they'll be decided in this game, but at least we'll be able to see it on the field. At least we'll be able to see if Brady can carve up Belichick's defense or if Belichick can stop Brady. This game is everything to me as a fan. And I just think it's going to be amazing. Drama, television, and football. So those are my rankings for every Sunday night football game from the worst to the best in 2021. Make sure you Gronk spike that like button and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos just like this. And don't forget to comment below your number one game and the game that you're most excited to watch on Sunday night this year. It's Mitch. Peace.